All right, to members of the media, we're going to go ahead and get started with our second press conference of the morning. Of course, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney has joined us. Dabo Swinney has joined us. Excuse me. Coach, you're now 1 day away from the Discover Orange Bowl. Is there anything left for you to do to get your team prepared and ready to play tomorrow night?
Well, we try to maximize all of our time, and we try to get them on as normal a routine as possible. And so today is kind of like a Friday for us, and we'll take them through what we call the game prep process with a little meeting and a walkthrough at the hotel. We'll actually go over to the stadium and do a couple things, but it's really all just mental. Just kind of start really getting them prepared to go and play at a peak performance at 8:38 tomorrow night. So that's about it at this point.
I'll now open up to questions. If you can just flag down the microphone runners, they'll come over and bring you the microphone.
Good morning, Coach. Tim Reynolds with the AP here in Miami.
Good morning.
You talked about it on the night the matchup was announced, just how this is the site of Clemson's finest hour and all of that. And I'm sure you've talked about this ad nauseum, so I apologize. But just what is the significance, do you think, for the fan base, that the 30-year anniversary and all those things, all that symmetry, and how can that kind of help your kids, do you think?
Well, I think that it's just been incredible from that standpoint, from our fans, and it's, like I said, this is our greatest memory, if you will, as a program, and so many people talk about it. And I mean, 30 years, that's a long time. I mean, you've got kids that were here that are now grown-ups, and you've got grown-ups that are gray-headed old men now, and and they're writing you letters saying, hey, man, I'd like to get back there one more time. And it's actually very interesting because literally the first person I saw when I walked in the door this morning, slouched over in a chair, is Coach Ford sipping on some coffee. I mean, literally, the first person I saw. And that's what he said. He said, I told him they should have put him in the Hall of Fame at least 10 years ago here. We might have made it earlier. But he's... it's really neat to just see how it's all come together, and for this to be the year that Coach Ford is also being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that's the year, after 30 years, that Clemson makes it back to the Orange Bowl and wins the ACC for the first time in 20 years. It's special. And, our players have taken a lot of pride in that because we accomplished some great goals this year. We didn't hit all of our goals, but we've accomplished some great goals. And, it's just good progress with our program, obviously, because we did things this year that haven't been done in a long, long, long time. And hopefully we can build upon what we've done.
Rebecca, we'll go right here on the inside aisle, second row.
Coach, I know you don't know until you get on the field, but do you feel the team's as focused and prepared as they can be? And if you would guess, how well do you think they'll play?
Well, I think they're going to play great. I've never really felt like we're going to play bad. It's always a shocker to me when we don't play well because we practice hard and all those things. But we've had good preparation. It's obviously a lot to balance, and so you don't really ever know until they get out there. We've had weeks where we've had great practice, and I mean, you just feel like you're fixing to light the world on fire, and you go out there and you look like you hadn't practiced all week. And so you never really truly know. There's a lot to balance here. I think we've done as good a job as we possibly can. I think our players have done a tremendous job. I mean, we've had no curfew issues. We've had no nobody missing anything. We've had no drama, nothing. And that's a real sign to me that they're focused. That's a sign to me that the leadership has done a great job. We've been down here for quite a while, and to have 100-something 18 to 22-year-olds storm Miami all at one time for a little over a week. That's pretty impressive. So I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of the leadership. The practices have been good, and but you got to go play the game. And the biggest worry that I have is we haven't played in a month for a month. I mean, that's a long time to not really, and we went full speed in Clemson as far as we did. We went live, tackling, scrimmaging, the whole deal, just trying to, offset that. We've been full speed here, but we haven't been live, kind of like a typical game week. And so you worry about that a little bit. That's probably the biggest thing. But as far as preparation and their focus, that's been good.
Over here on the left.
Dabo, given their style of offense, does pressure and their quarterback take on more importance than it would against maybe some other teams?
Well, I mean, they've thrown the ball for 1 million yards and 40-something times a game, and he's completing 65% of his passes. So, I mean, we got to be able to affect the quarterback, and the way you do that, one way is through coverage. You've got to be really disciplined with your coverage. People got to be where they're supposed to be. You've got to change it up. If you just do one thing, they're going to lock in on you pretty quick. They've got answers. But the other way is you get pressure on the quarterback. So you do that through scheme, but you also have to do it through winning matchups, both ways. And, we've prepared hard. Now we got to go execute, but that is going to be a key part of the game. If it's a 7-on-7 pass skill out there for them, it's going to be a long night for us. But if we can affect their quarterback and disrupt the rhythm in the passing game, get him on the ground, and get after the receivers outside, then we've got a chance if we'll take care of the ball and do the things we need to do on the other side. So it's going to take a complete team effort to win the ball game. This is a championship type game, and they're the Big East champ and ACC champ. If you look at these games that you've been, these type games that have been played, it's a play here or there, and because both teams are going to want to win, they're going to play with a lot of pride, and hopefully they'll make more mistakes than we do.
I'll go in the back row on your right.
Coach Brad Fralick, WYFF in Greenville. What's been the most fun part of the week so far?
LeBron James, man. Even though I didn't get to meet him, I love basketball. That was pretty neat to get to go down to the Heat game, and what a great arena that is, and so I really enjoyed that. It's really all been fun. The beach was a blast. Seeing our guys. I mean, you're talking about a lot of these guys. Some of them probably never put their feet in the ocean, and to see them all down there just having a big time on the beach. Those are the things that go away. People talk about doing away with bowls and just going to a complete playoff system and all that kind of stuff. They don't see that. And I mean, to see these guys come to a town and be embraced for a week, and to see the things that they experience, it's awesome. Instead of coming in on Friday, playing on Saturday and gone, they get lifetime experiences. And again, seeing them down on the beach, seeing them riding the jet skis, it just puts a smile on your face. They've done a great job with this bowl. But for me personally, I would have to say, going to the Heat game was a blast. The motorcade here is a blast to see how that whole deal. I mean, it's unbelievable how they move us through the traffic. And Joe Stonecraps. I mean, they said I could only have 5. I think I had 10. So I broke the rules. It's all been great. It's been a ton of fun.
And we're standing up all the way to the right.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing? Couple things for you. You just said a minute ago that you went live in Clemson. I've wondered over the years, listening to coaches talk about those kinds of things, do coaches actually think in their subconscious that players forget how to hit each other?
What now?
That players forget how to hit each other.
Well, I think that, it's one of those things as football has evolved and scholarships have been reduced and all of that. I mean, you're 100% invested every time you scrimmage. I mean, they're all yours. And that's why I've always kind of wished that we could go scrimmage somebody in the spring or even in the fall where you could not be 100% invested when you go live every single time. But I think that the way we practice, and we practice a lot like the NFL teams, probably more pads than them. But we try to go full speed thud is what we would do during a normal game week, and it's everything's live except putting them on the ground. And you worry about that over the course of the season. I think there's a cumulative effect of not finishing on some things. So we try to pick our spots. But during bowl practice, we kind of treat it like camp almost. And, you scrimmage during camp, you try to get everybody ready, and you just hope that you get them all healthy and get them to the game. But when you're, all live bullets out there, it's a little bit of concern. But when you don't do it for a certain amount of time, you worry about, some missed tackles. And I think you see that in the bowl games. I think it's obvious that that has an effect, the layoff. But that's just part of it, and it's the same for everybody.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, I mentioned this to Dana when he was here. The games that have been played so far, the BCS games, have been pretty offensive. I mean, there's been a lot of numbers thrown up, a lot of stats thrown up. And in the end, it ended up turning out to be a defensive play or a kicking game play that decided the whole thing. I mean, there's a whole lot of points up there, and that's what people remember. But they forget that, a ball laying 2 inches from going out of bounds probably decided the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
A couple missed kicks decided the game last night. And that had nothing to do with the offense and nothing to do with the stats.
Well, I always tell our guys, when you're playing, when two pretty even teams are playing, it's 5 or 6 plays that really determine the outcome of the game. And, you just don't know when those plays are coming. You have no idea. And so we try to take the mentality of, just play every play like it's a one-play game. Win that play and then go to the next one. And that's the mentality you really have to have because, again, you just don't know, when the play's coming. So you can't relax. However many plays are in the game, 160, and plus your special teams. You've got to play every play like it's the play that's going to determine the outcome in the game. That's the mentality you have to have because when you look back, that's what you see. It's usually 4, 5, 6 plays. That changed momentum, created opportunity, and so forth.
We're going to stay on the inside aisle, second row.
My guess is indications are you're as healthy now as you've been all year. Phillip Price is in good shape.
Yep.
Andre's probably as healthy as he's been all year.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
Yeah, really. In fact, Coach Ford was just asking me that when I came in here. We've only got one injured guy, and that's Tony Stewart. He's been hurt obviously for a while now with the knee injury, but we're as healthy as we've been in quite a while, and that's really good. Nuke, everybody's asked about Nuke. He's practiced the last 3 days or so, and he's good. Price is as healthy. I wouldn't say he's probably not 100% like he was when he started the season, but he's close to it. And David and Mason, we got a lot of guys that have been banged up and battling different things that I think are all, ready to go one last time.
On the front row to your right, Andrea.
Yeah, Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Just a little off topic, but everybody's chasing the SEC in terms of being able to win a national championship. Just wondering if you're tired of hearing about how great the SEC is and what it's going to take to be able to knock off a SEC team from winning a title.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. They've done a tremendous job. I think that their conference has been dominant the last few years from a championship standpoint. I think that it's a top-heavy conference. I think when you look at our conference, and the thing that we have not done is we have not produced a national champion. I think it's coming. I really do. I think it's coming in the near future. But and we've made some great strides toward that in a lot of areas: resources, facilities, coaches, all of those things. Our new TV contract, all of those things have allowed us to close that gap a little bit from a competitive standpoint. But they're still out front right now because they've won however many national championships now in a row, and somebody's got to knock them off. That's just the nature of competition, and that's our